Yeah, hell yeah. All right.
So, welcome back to the East and West Side Job Trailers, folks. As you'll have a few sporadic episodes either in a row or very close here where John has the plague, I assume, from drinking this unpasteurized milk we've talked about in the past in the podcast. It's finally caught up with him, so we're recording
Fuck
from
you, it's
both
not from
the
that.
East and West Side Job Trailers. I'm pretty
Suck
sure.
one.
How are you, man? How's your week?
Okay, yeah, so let me just put it out there. I am sick, and everybody please forgive me for my my speech and my thought process and my brain, because between NyQuil, DayQuil, Sudafed, and still going to work, I am...
Which we will do
Yep.
as construction workers.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the course. But
So if the cause right now is NyQuil and DayQuil and still going to work and all that, and that's affecting your speech and voice patterns and all that, how does that explain every other previous episode, buddy?
I'm just an idiot.
Welcome, everybody, to the I Shower After Work podcast. This is what you're in for today.
Fucking
Yes,
love it.
you certainly sound like you got a bit of a head cold, buddy, but I'm glad we're still making it happen here. I, however, do not want to get sick because I don't want to be sick over the holidays. So
Right.
there it is, folks. Hopefully, when we actually edit these out, when I say we, that's pretty general because I should say generous because I mean John. They'll sound okay on the sound quality. So
Right. Well, let's
we
hope.
said before we're running a shit show operation here. It's Mickey Mouse itself.
It's a fucking train wreck, but we love doing it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It gives us something to do.
Yes, man. So you, this is one of these episodes where I get no preface of what's going on. John's just going to throw something out. I do it to him occasionally too. You said you had an idea, my friend. I'm going to sit back comfortably, lay it on me.
This is, speaking of the holidays,
Okay.
it's all about the new year, my man. 2025.
2025.
Let's talk about this 2025 this year that we're in. I'm going to call it that we're in because I know when this episode's going to be released and it's going to be the new year.
Okay.
So we need to talk about the actual new year. What we
In what way,
plan.
buddy?
And just what we plan, things that we're excited about, things that we're going to be doing, things that we're planning. Let's talk about things that we want to do on this podcast and in our real lives. And we're not drinking. We're not spun up. Jason, I see you're enjoying a drink. I cannot enjoy the drink because with all the extra meds that I'm on, I'm afraid it's going to do something really bad and I won't be at work tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm at about... Ooh, I turned the volume up on my headset way more than I meant to. I'm at only about 25% spun up, so it's okay.
All right, cool, man. Cool.
Well, the new year. So this is our, I guess, this be technically our second annual. This isn't our New Year special, but this is our second New Year we're starting in the podcast.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start, buddy? This is on you. I'll follow your lead.
Well, so we've been doing a lot of talking about plans and things that we want to do for the podcast.
Mhm.
So neither one of us believe in New Year's resolutions.
I think they're dog shit, yeah.
I think they're dog shit.
Vocal, often and honest about it, yeah.
Right. So when it comes to this beautiful thing that we got going on, right? Like, what are the things that you're excited about that we've been talking about to do?
Oh, I've got a few, so we'll just trade back and forth here. I am really excited about the drive to make this year our first like real big year of guests. We had a bunch of fun over the last year and a half of having some fun guests on. Not quite a year and a half, but you know what I mean, folks. But we've got some people already signed up, people that are in the pipe that are going to be on with us here coming up soon. And I'm excited about that. I really want to have more varying opinions on it, and I'm looking forward to us having that.
Right. Right, for sure.
How about you, man?
Well, with the guests, when it comes to we call it the year of the guests, right? We are pushing heavy on that. We are focusing heavy on that. You're going to hear it in every single one of our episodes leading up to this and leading away from this episode. We're suggesting everybody to go over to our website and sign up to be a guest. It's a pre-interview sign up, and I'll tell you that right now, isawpodcast.com, and hit the link or the page tab and fill out the form, pick a day on the schedule. We've got days and times that are suited just for Jason and I to sit down during the week They are in the evenings because we do work for a living, right? So we don't have a whole lot of times, but we are super flexible with times for these things. We tend to record on the weekends, but if we need to fit in a pre-interview, we can change the dates to whatever you need. We're pretty flexible with things. We just need you to get over there and sign up on that. And then it automatically kicks you a media release form. So that's kind of where we're at on that. The guests
it's crazy easy, folks.
It really is. I was able
And if
to...
I may, buddy, what I've been saying, and if you're noticing, folks, John and I step on each other a little more when we're not in the same room because we can't visually see. The
Right.
other guy's taking a breath to say something. I keep saying it. Don't assume just because you're not in construction or you don't think you could be an interesting interview that you shouldn't sign up. Sign up.
Yeah.
There's only 3 possibilities. We have a great time. John and I can probably get some fun conversation, Eddie, over the time that we chat. And if it is complete and utter terrible, we just won't use it.
Right.
But it's been so well so far, and our guests have been good. That's very unlikely. I'm sure no matter what we have to talk about, we can find something that'll be fun and it'll be an interesting episode. So,
Well, and it doesn't have to be construction related.
exactly. We've
Right.
got some coming up that are just mildly construction related, and we've had many
Right.
in the past that weren't at all.
Yep. And it's really cool when it comes with guests. God, we have a good time. We haven't had a bad one yet.
No, we've been really fortunate, and they definitely seem to be the most popular episodes.
Right.
Shout out to everybody who listens every week. We do really appreciate everybody, but yeah, the ones with guests seem to really pop with people. So
Right. And then the other thing I'm really excited about is we are trying to get in, or we've had these conversations, and it kind of excites me every time I think about it, about getting set up for live locations.
yes,
If we can get into a live location, get set up somewhere small, we don't even know all the details about it, but we really want to actually do that. I think that'll be fun.
I'll actually go out on a limb right now and say I'm going to commit to during 2025, we're going to have at least 2 live broadcasts from independent locations, not the job trailers, somewhere out in the real world.
Right.
I got 2 or 3 kind of right in mind right now for myself and us, and I'll commit. We're going to do that at least twice. The problem is going to be John and I have not discussed what times those should be.
No.
It can't be during the workday because nobody can listen.
Right.
So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, some live broadcasts, completely unedited, unfiltered. See who we can sit down with us for that. And the
Right.
locations itself could be funny. I'm not sure how it's going to go. The audio might be terrible, folks, but John and I are going to keep trying fun things here. So
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is try because we don't know until we try. So
one thing I will say is I'm also committed this year. I've got some stuff upstairs right now. If I had thought to bring it down with me, I'll take some photos maybe for social later. If you do come on as a guest, you always get a bottle of our generic, what we'd like to give to you, or your liquor of choice if you happen to be so inclined. But merch this year. We're gonna have some merch available. Limited quantities to start. So if you've been a fan of the show the whole time, hit us up. We'd be happy to try to help you out. And I mean, anybody who comes on as a guest, obviously, we're going to start to have a little gift package to take away with you, or whatever.
Yep.
Please reach out, DM, email, whatever you got to do. Let us know. Are you interested in having something? Because if you are, we'll make bigger quantities of it, but we're not getting 600 hats to find out that 30 people wanted them.
Right.
So,
Right.
and this being a Mickey Mouse operation here at the start, I got to tell you, folks, I am going to be physically making the hats.
Yeah.
Making things, right? Like stickers and
Right.
stuff is easy, but when it comes down to actually making stuff, it's a whole big commitment. So keep
Yeah.
in mind, as this is a growing thing, I'll be doing it myself.
Did you bring one of the patches and hats down?
No, I
Let's give it a
didn't.
shot. Ah,
They're
damn it.
upstairs, buddy.
Ah,
They're
damn it.
upstairs.
That's
I
all
know.
good.
I'm mad at myself. Yeah.
No,
But
we have. I saw the order that you placed. That was really cool. I think those are going to turn out really well. I'm excited for the merch line. I am focused on trying to get some high vis hoodies on a merch line. I've got a couple of contacts that I'm working on for that, so that'll be fun. You and I are going to have the first ones we're going to be sporting on job sites and stuff. So
for sure, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
that'll be-
out in public and whatnot, right?
since
Yeah,
we
and one thing
finalized
about that,
that logo, right?
Yes, yeah,
It's
the new logo,
the new
folks. The
logo
one that's
is
been up for a couple months now. That's the logo now. We're not
that's the
changing
one.
anymore. Yeah, we promise. We went through 3 iterations to get one we loved. That the new logo that you see on
Right.
the thumbnail, that is the logo now.
Right.
There's no changing it. We're stuck with it forever,
Yep.
unless we rebrand in 3 or 4 years. But we'll see what happens.
If I could shut up, I don't want to do that. It's been hard
So
enough.
yeah, it's but yeah, definitely let us know. And on the note of the hoodies thing, okay, listen, it's getting to be hoodie season here now. We just at the time you're listening to this, the temperature is definitely falling out the bottom a lot of the days or whatever.
Yep.
Look, folks, hoodies aren't cheap, but if you want to rep us and help us out when we get the hoodie thing going, we're definitely going to shout you out if you buy a hoodie.
Yeah, and
And if you,
the hoodies that we're getting are high quality.
yeah, we're not going to buy junk, right? It's
Yeah.
our logo on a good hoodie.
Yep.
So if you see that come up and you do decide to pull the trigger on that, hey, DM us a photo. We will shout you out. We'll throw it up on socials. We're happy to do it, especially if you're working while you do it.
Yeah,
If you're cleaning
absolutely.
leaves, that's good enough too. But if you're on the job site, on break, of course, you'd never do that during working hours.
Right.
So yeah, but merch is going to be a bigger thing here in the new year for sure for us, man.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're taking leaps and bounds. I want to try to be guests on other people's podcasts. I think
Yes,
that
if
would be fun.
anybody's out there, we'd be more than happy to come on and talk about whatever you want. Construction would be fantastic, but you just want to talk about podcasts or shooting the shit, we're happy to do that too. We've done it once before. I'd enjoy probably doing that again.
Yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So what do you see for yourself in 2025 personally? Could be you and the wife. What do you see happening?
Well, I'll tell you the big discussion here, and as with everything, let me point out something here that I realized the other day. We put ourselves out here all the way, right, buddy?
Right.
We don't talk the way we would 100% honestly speak to each other because I want to keep being employed, as we've mentioned before. My brain's pretty fucked up, folks.
Right.
I got to edit out the really dark thoughts. But, oh, I lost my train of thought.
You and the wife, 2025.
Yes. So, if you have opinions on this, please send it to me. I mentioned about this time last year, our dog, my first dog ever, actually had passed away. Pepsi, God love her, good little dog.
She was a good pup.
And yeah, she was a pretty good little dog. Yeah. So now we're at the point where we're considering a new dog.
Okay.
And this is where I need some advice, folks, because I'm going to honestly tell everybody where I'm at. My wife is chomping at the bit.
Oh, I bet she is.
Michelle's chomping at the bit. There was cat talk for a while that I've been very anti-cat talk. Every time it comes up, I staunchly say no. I'm not anti-cat. I've had cats, but I know how long they live, and I know that you're a 50-50 shot of getting a cool, chill one or an asshole. And if I know it's come up before, but just as a reiteration here, my wife is hearing impaired, which means any new pet, especially a cat who tend to be nocturnal little shits, I'm the one probably getting woken up by the noise, not my hearing impaired wife. So
Right.
I also have to factor that in. But so here's where we're at. I'm a complete no on the cat thing. I'm a dog guy. She mentioned recently the whole fostering thing, which I think is really important for animals that are stuck in shelters. Like, I'm totally behind it, right? But I also know that the first dog that shows up here, we're probably going to fall in love with the dog if it's not. And as John's nodding on Zoom here, folks,
Yeah.
the dog's not going to be an asshole. We may as well just adopt that dog,
Yep.
right? I'm not going to be able to. I'd be more than happy to foster a few over a couple years, take them to the vet appointments, all that. Like, I'm fine with that. Those dogs need to get out of that cage that they're in. I'm totally behind that plan. But I know me and I know her. We're definitely just going to keep that dog.
Yep.
So if that's the case, we should just go adopt the dog we want to adopt.
Right.
But also, in the fear of sounding like an asshole, this last year of not having to rush home on the weekends, rush home at night,
Yep.
clean up the occasional surprise mess after you've already had a long day. You hear them coughing in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, where are they throwing up now? The freedom has been sort of freeing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to be said with that.
I want the opinion of the people out there. Please, like I said, email and DM me or whatever. Jason at isawpodcast.com. John's is John at isawpodcast.com, by the way. And
Yeah.
if you want to just do it to both of us, it's hosts at isawpodcast.com. We don't talk about that enough.
No, we don't.
But if you want to reach out and let me know your opinion on the whole thing, listen, man, I miss having a dog around too.
Yep.
But I believe the new year is definitely going to see a new dog.
Yeah, there's gonna be a new puppy rolling around.
Yeah, I suspect it's going to be the case. I would give up some of the freedom that we gained to have a buddy wagging a tail when I walked in the room in the new year coming home. So,
Yep. Yep.
how about
Exactly.
you, man? What's the plan for you and the family in the new year? Or you personally, what do you got going?
Oh, I am personally really, really excited about 2025. Youngest is graduating high school. Middle kiddo's got a good full time job. Got a funny story for that later.
Yeah,
And
excellent.
then the oldest is graduating college. So they're all
Oh
going to
wow,
be
that's
home.
great.
They're all going to be home. We are super stoked for that because we haven't been able to take a family vacation in 5 years. And we are planning on taking the kids to London, to Europe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're going to load them all up, take them on a real vacation, an actual vacation that's not business orientated. Because that's what me and the wife do a lot is
Yeah,
her
there's a lot of that
business.
going on. We're going to talk about the
Yeah.
business part of our podcast later too. Yep.
Yep. So that's what I'm super excited for. Little bummed out because we just found out that my kitty cat that I do have, we have half a zoo here. We lost one of our pups last year, right with you, and then I've just found out that my cat, she's kind of a pain in the ass, but she's a pretty cool cat. Probably won't have her more than a year.
Ah, that sucks, buddy.
Late stage heart disease. That
Uh,
nothing can really be done.
so
So
I'll back you up on a couple things you said there. Unfortunately, the zoo is becoming less populated, but yeah, you had kind of a zoo going there for a while. Two dogs, two cats. You, uh, when you say your cat,
yeah,
is your cat the one who loves me to death when I'm there, or the one who comes around occasionally?
she's the one that's been heard on the podcast down here meowing.
Okay, so the one that really digs me. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's your cat. Well, that's a shame. I love that cat. That's a good little cat. Yeah.
yep, Keaton.
Okay, Key. That's right, Keaton. Yeah, we've talked before. There's pets are fantastic, but as Keaton just walked through the background of your video on Zoom,
Oh, did she?
just walk between the studs by that Home Depot
Oh,
bucket
that's
there.
funny. Yep, that's
By the
her.
way, for everybody who just listens because we don't do a video thing here, John has had his camera turned at just such an angle that he's on one side of the screen the whole time, and his fancy DeWalt miter saw and setup is on the other side.
Welcome to the job trailer.
Yeah, let's hope that DeWalt sees this and we'll tag them in the video and maybe they'll send us something. Um, yeah,
If there
so
is a
that's
video,
yeah, that's a man, that's a real shame about the cat, man. It's a fun little cat.
is what it is. I rescued her and she was a foster. So I adopted her when she came strutting into my garage while I was working on the kid's car and laid on my chest while I was laying on the underneath the car. So I'm like, yep, the cat's mine.
Oh fuck yeah, that's your fucking cat now.
But nobody knew exactly how old she was. And I'm pretty sure she's an oldie. Pretty sure she's had a good life. Oh, she's definitely had a good life since I've had her. Past
How long
5
you had
years.
the cat now? 5 years? Okay.
Yeah, 5 years. So
Yeah, no, it's yeah, that cat's all over me every time I get over there. Folks, I'm on the west side. It's a fun little. So that's the good 50%.
right.
Said I was worried when I was talking earlier about the bad 50%. So,
I've had the bad 50% in my life for sure. Uh-huh. Yep, the psycho cats.
well, that's it. So it brings me to the second part of what I'll hopefully get feedback from some of the listeners on, and you, brother, if you want to chime in here. There was some talk for a while when our last dog was starting to fade.
Yep.
Well, next time we're going to have two dogs, so they got a buddy or whatever, right? I wasn't completely against that idea until I remember what it was like to have one brand new dog in the house, and then I thought, oh, that's like having one baby treading water in a pool, and somebody throws you an entirely other baby,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's like so now when one maybe goes to sleep, the other one's up crying, and I know it's not the same as kids, but the crying and waking you up in the middle of the night thing is real similar with animals, especially
Yep.
when they're young. I happen to be on one of the local, actually, no, I shouldn't say local. I'll shout them out. Animalark.org. They're in Hastings, Minnesota.
Okay.
A good local place. Ooh, got to stop touching the mic. Uh, a local shelter, no kill shelter. They're fantastic. It's where we got our last dog from. I happened to go on there and I saw a dog that looked similar but not the same to the old one. So I had a little affinity, same similar breed, bully breed. I was like, oh, look at that cute little dog. And then I saw one below it, like, oh, that dog looks kind of the same. So I bring it up, and then I see a third dog, and I realize they're all variations of names starting with P that kind of rhyme with one another. I'm like, God damn it. I hope my wife doesn't see this and want to adopt these three dogs,
Oh
which
yeah,
are two sisters and a
yeah.
brother.
The litter.
The litter of dogs, because you wouldn't want to separate them.
Right.
So, anyways, we're not trying to get on an animal bummer here, folks, but
Um.
these are just some of the things we're thinking about within the new year. So, if you have an opinion on my wife and I getting a new dog, and even if it's something as simple as you want to chime in on a possible name for the new dog, because there will definitely be at least one new dog, I'm going to go out on a limb here, educate a guess, and say before the snow is gone, there'll be dog prints on the floor in my house.
Oh, absolutely.
I believe that's what's going to happen. If
Yeah.
we didn't have a couple of other trips, so I say we've mentioned recently we're going to Mexico, and by the time this comes out, we'll be back. It'll be the new
Yep.
year. But my mother turns 80 this year. I'm going to be in town for my mother's 80th birthday. My mother-in-law, Peggy, shout out to her. I love her very much. She's a great mother-in-law. She's turning 70 this year.
Oh wow.
Well, we got to go to those.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to get a dog before them trips are done. And the second of
Yeah.
those is in May.
Yeah.
So give or take. But yeah, if you have a good name for a dog, let me know. My brother-in-law, Jimmy, has always been a big proponent of naming all his dogs after the same thing. He likes to have a theme. I don't want to say my brother-in-law's theme, but from what I can tell, it seems to be black baseball players.
Okay.
mostly
Sure.
mostly Minnesota Twins baseball players from what I can tell, but he seems to have sort of a theme. So we
Okay.
want to do the same thing. Our last dog was
Yeah, it's
Pepsi
gonna be Coke.
Cola, right? You see, but I can't be walking around the streets if the dog goes missing going, has anybody seen any Coke? Is you seen Coke? I'm looking for Coke.
Coke, come here, Coke.
It's
That would be
if you think
funny.
of something else, yeah, you can't be Pepper for Dr. Pepper, but folks, if you have any ideas, just let me know. And maybe keep a two dog idea in name because there's a real good chance it's going to be multiple dogs. So,
Uh, God bless you, dude. I couldn't take in two dogs at the same time. I'd probably end up just losing my shit.
hey, let me be real clear, man. I shouldn't, but that's probably what's going to happen.
That's probably
So,
good. Look, we had when we had the two, it was nice, but we went through this weird spot with our corgi. He's the young one. He's the pup, and he's definitely my wife's dog. And well, they both originally were my wife's dogs before we got married, but they were two peas in a pod, and then Finnard passed away, and then Remy was sad for a little bit, the corgi, and now he's just fine. He's definitely happy that he's the only one getting all the attention and loves and cuddles and pets and treats. Like he's good.
yeah, they're smart. They're smart critters, but their memory is fairly short with stuff.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all right. So there's enough of a bummer about the animal thing. But the positive is, I I suspect I'm going to have at least one, definitely one, if not multiple new animals in the house in the coming year. So
So Jason and Michelle won't be riding the motorcycle very much this summer.
we will be leaving motorcycle rides earlier.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in the good old days, we're like, hey, sorry, it's 3 o'clock and the dog usually gets fed at 4 and we're an hour and a half from home and you can do the math. So love you. See you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
As much
good
as I
reason to
don't
go.
like that, and I enjoyed not doing that because we had a bunch of fun days this year where we got to stay out later and have a little more laughs with everybody because we didn't have to do that.
Yep.
And what we both agreed, we really enjoyed that. I don't know if I would trade that for either the fun of coming home, like I said, to a buddy who's there wagging his tail, happy you walked in, or two, as the case may be. I don't know if I would trade that for the extra hour and a half I would get hanging out with my friends a couple, 3, 4 times during the summer.
Yeah.
So
No, I get it. No, that's awesome. So I wanted to get back to this funny story with my kid.
yeah, lay on me, buddy.
With my middle kid, it was, dude, oh my God. So she comes home yesterday from her job and she makes $19 an hour.
Good money for a young person. How old is she now?
She's 19.
That's good money at 19. Good.
right? 19 bucks an hour. And she looks at us. She's like, how do people pay rent? She's like,
Welcome to adulthood, darling.
welcome
You're
to
gonna
it all.
hate it here.
Oh my God. It was just the funniest damn thing. And it was a real good realization of what I signed up for as a parent. It's just like, no, this is it. I hope they don't have to be in my house until they're 30 to be able to afford to get the fuck out. Like, but it was a funny little story. She's just like, I can't afford rent. Rent's too expensive. That's like over half of my paycheck. Yeah.
So
Roommates.
again, man, we go through this a lot, but I don't feel bad about it because we need some varying perspectives here. As a non-parent, I've mentioned it ad nauseum. Uh, do you think that there's a world in which you could be a little more, I don't know what would be a good term here that gets my point across and doesn't sound racist, but I'm going to take a couple swings at the fence here. Do you think it would be a terrible thing, and be honest, if it was a little more, I don't know, European or Asian, where families live in multi-generational houses because why waste all the money to buy another house because you've got rooms for the kids in this one and you figure are are you down for that idea? Is that crazy? Do you look forward to the day that the kids are gone and you're like, no, 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 I did all this work so they'd go out on their own and make their own way and me and the missus could sit back and ride off into the sunset. Like, where are you at?
I am very much in that position actually. I don't
The
want my
latter
kids.
position.
Yeah, I don't want my
Okay.
kids living with me. Like, I want them to spread their wings. I want them to be adults. I don't want their families living with me unless there's certain situations that they need to, right? Like, shit happens, right?
Oh yeah, if they get
If
in a bad way, you're gonna let your kid fucking crash for a while. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
even
sure.
even them and their families, right? Say they got a couple of
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, just come home. It's fine. You ain't staying here, but come home. Get your feet back underneath you. You know,
Yeah.
shit happens. Let's do this. Let's take care of this.
Hey, man, I've been there myself.
Yeah.
Thank God for my parents.
And I think that's where I'm at. I don't want them to stay with me. I want them to live. I want them to experience life. You know, I've done my living. I've got my stuff. Me and the wife are looking forward to downsizing one day. But who knows?
And I mean, we're dudes, right? Let's be honest with each other here for a quick second, if it's okay, man. Can I
Absolutely.
can I put your shit out into the world real quick?
Sure.
You don't want your daughters being in the house getting railed by some dude, even if it is their husband. I'm
Well,
just saying.
that's
That
I
doesn't
mean,
seem like it'd be cool.
no, probably not.
At some point, I mean, yeah, you understand adults are adults, but that's still your daughter. Like, yeah, I don't think that would be
And
cool at some point.
on the other side of that, I want to be able to walk around the house in my boxers if I want to.
See, in my opinion, now again, I don't have kids, and this is one of the things, one of the many things I will miss out on from not having kids, right? I'm going to be a funkle, right? I'm going to be
Yeah.
the fun uncle.
Yep.
That's my gig now. I know I'm not going to have children. Uh, why not just walk around your boxers anyway? It's your goddamn house. If they're uncomfortable, that should be entertaining for you. I would
Yeah.
find that funny as shit for me. I would love to walk around in my fucking shit going, oh, you got a problem with it? Well, the door's right there. Check out the prices of rent before you talk shit next time, you know?
Yeah. No, I can't do that. That makes me
Pansy.
uncomfortable.
Ah, you pansy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Wait, I should clarify real quick. Are you saying that you don't want to do that in front of your daughters or in front of their significant others?
My daughters.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized what you were saying there real quick. Oh my God, the last couple recordings, I've been having a lot of trouble touching the mic.
Would you fucking stop?
Listen,
You're talking with your hands a lot
I
today.
know, which is weird because that's not me normally. Yeah, I'm embarrassed because that's sort of a French thing, and well, we've talked about me and the French thing before. I'm going to not touch this microphone anymore the rest of the recordings.
That's funny. You fucking lying like a dog, I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try not to do it. So yeah, no, that's a yeah. I was always just curious, like, 'cause, yeah, the thought of that, I'm like, "Ew, man, like, I used to joke with my wife before when we were recently married, early in our lives, before I realized we weren't going to have kids. I would, I specifically picked a name of what our child was going to be that I knew would drive her crazy.
Yeah.
And FYI, folks, my wife, I'll be perfectly honest, thank you to everybody who listens. She hasn't listened to 60 seconds of this podcast. Again, the hearing impaired thing doesn't help. She can certainly go on YouTube and she could watch an episode, and the audio scroll of all the things we say just comes up in the
Yeah.
closed captions. She could certainly do that. She does not. Let me be very clear. It's
Right.
not happening. So I know she's not going to say nothing. I told her two things when we were early married and we were still trying for kids. One was she would bring up, well, what if it's a girl? And I staunchly, for no reason other than just to be funny and drive her nuts, I'm like, yeah, I'm not having any girls. That doesn't happen in my family. We have boys. I
Gotcha.
had no reason to say that. We have plenty of women in our family, but my staunch seriousness about it used to make her laugh. And I told her we were going to have a son, absolutely unequivocally, and our son was going to be named, wait for it, Argyle. Yeah, that was her reaction too, buddy. Uh, I picked Argyle for two reasons. One, it's a ridiculous name for a human being, although there are people out there, sorry for everyone whose name is Argyle.
Yeah.
But being Celtic myself, I've got Scotch-Irish parents. And from the movie Braveheart, when his father's dying and they're doing the funeral and his uncle rides up on the horse and he says, I'm your uncle, Argyle. It
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
sounded so ultra Celtic. I was like, well, that's what I'm using to drive her crazy because now not only does she need to be concerned that we're having a boy or a girl, but I'm so staunch about this Argyle thing. Until we figured out years later we weren't going to have kids, I believe this was a real concern in the back of her head.
That is funny shit. Maybe that's why you didn't have kids. She was just like, no,
Oh,
I can't do that. And her body's just like, no, I agree. We're not having kids.
hey, brother, I have mentioned this story to friends before who have brought up the same point you just brought. Like, do you think maybe the fact that at the time she didn't have kids was part of the stress of thinking that you were going to have a child named Argyle?
Argyle.
Oh, shit.
Funny. So,
So, go ahead, man.
that's so funny. So we got to stop using that filler word. So
And maybe not that the irony of that is fantastic.
it really is. I
Thanks
can't
for
remember
listening,
what
folks.
I can't remember what I was actually going to say. I was going to ask you a question. Now it must have been a lie or not important.
Well, while you think about it, we're talking about stuff for the new year here. So,
Yeah.
one of the things that I was thinking about as far as the new year went, back to the podcast for a quick minute, right?
Absolutely. Let's bounce around, man. It's fine.
Yeah. We have often we've bounced around. I mean, we've talked about some fun things that had nothing to do with construction in the spirit of sometimes around the break table, you just have random conversations,
Yep.
which we will do sometimes. And occasionally, no plan at all. Very recently, you heard an episode, John and I get tuned up and just talk shit for a while, right? Multiverses and stuff, which, by the way, I have an update from our fact checker about our rant half in the bag episode.
Okay.
My brother Greg, our unofficial fact checker. There's gonna be in the new year, I hope for us, some more interaction with the people who enjoy the podcast, but also I've really enjoyed since we've started it the negative comments, and a little dark part of me kind of hopes that we still get some negative dark comments going forward, if not a whole bunch more. They make me laugh.
Yeah.
Have you had any negative feedback so far, buddy?
Not one. Not one.
And I bring it up because since I have had some negative feedback and the fact that you haven't gotten any, I'm going to really pay attention in the new year and try to figure out why I'm taking the negative feedback. I don't know if my friends are more honest with me or what it is, but I noticed that when I bring up stuff that people have said negatively about the podcast, you never have anything to say. I'm real curious about what's happening there.
Yeah, no, I've never had any negative feedback. I heard the negative feedback from you. The only time I really took heat was the EV rant episode.
Yes,
the original one.
Well, there's negative feedback for you about that.
Yep.
It came in my direction mostly,
Yeah.
but there was definitely negative feedback for that.
Yeah, I think somebody, whoever it was just afraid to say it to me, but whatever.
That's so. I know for a fact that the person that was upset about that, who I thought had stopped listening and was no longer actively speaking to me and engaging with me on a personal and family level, was because of that. It turned out that wasn't the case. They were just busy. Uh, I did ask why they reached out to me and not you. And the answer was, well, I know you. So the next big family event we have, I'm going to make sure you're there so I can go, oh, hey, so and so, this is John. Next time he pisses you off by calling people in your particular case pieces of shit, you can reach out to John directly about that. So
Yeah.
we'll figure all that out.
Yeah.
And I broke my rule already and touched the mic again.
Again. I think looking back on the past year, the way that we've been able to keep driving forward, keep coming up with suggestions, because folks, it's not easy. And Jason does most of it, and God bless you, dude. It's not easy coming up with ideas to talk about. I've got a list that's on my computer that I use ChatGPT for episode
Yes,
ideas.
God love GPT, as in how a drunk adult would say it, for coming up with ideas. Absolutely.
But it's cool that we've been able to keep going, just keep coming up. Dude, we're episode 60 some.
At this point, it's 60 something. That's crazy.
Holy shit. And so I wanted to get other people's point of views. So chime in, comment however you want to on whatever platform. I want to throw the question out. Do you think that we should start a second season and end the first season? Or just keep going and just see how many episodes, 3 digits, just keep on jiving and just call it one season?
What do you mean start a second season?
So there's an option that we have is I have to, when I upload the episodes, I actually have to pick a season number and an episode number. So we could start season 2, episode 1 and chomp it up and chalk it up.
Ah,
Right.
are you suggesting this would be episode 1, season
2.
2? Even though we're more than a year through, we understand, folks, this is not an
Right.
annual thing. Oh my God, I really am talking with my hands a lot today.
You really
This
are.
is weird when I'm not really.
I'm the
thinking
one that
heavy.
talks with
Yeah,
his
that's
hands.
normal. Yeah, that's normally you. As you are the chief technical officer of the I Shower After Work podcast, I will leave that up to you. But I like what you're thinking.
I want to
Maybe
get
this is
people's
the-
input.
Yeah, maybe. But by the time this comes out, would this be? We would have to make that change before people gave us feedback, right?
No.
No, we wouldn't have to. All right. If you think you want to see these as seasons, folks, I like what John is kind of getting at here. Reach out and let us know. Should we be doing these as seasons every year? I would have to think that New Year's would be the obvious breaking point.
It's a good break point,
Every
right?
new year special would be the start of the new season.
Yep. Yep.
You bring up something yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Season 2, called Season of Guests. Season of Guests.
Season 2 could be season of guests, which is what we want.
It
Sorry to keep
really
ramming
is.
that down your throat, folks, but wow, we want guests this year because it's John and I love doing this every week, but it is so much fun to sit down with a third party. And actually, early this year, we're going to have a third and a fourth party.
Yes, I'm excited for Katie.
Yeah,
and her
I don't
husband.
want to. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but one of our
We've
previous
talked about it
guests,
before.
yeah, one of our previous guests is going to come back on. Her and her spouse, who are in different parts. So I mean, I guess, yeah. What are we saying here? Katie and Nate are probably
Katie
going to
and
come
Nate.
back on with us. We're hoping this year. We mentioned it before, and they sounded like they were down for, I don't know, an episode coming up shortly of people who are now on different sides of the construction industry and are married and have kids. I mean, this might be a two-parter. We might talk to these folks for a whole afternoon.
Right.
Who knows?
Well,
This might be a Joe Rogan experience where it goes on for 3 or 4 hours. Like,
well, and we're talking about having that one around Valentine's Day mark,
yeah,
right?
that's what I'm hoping to find. So I know Katie listens every week. Shout out Katie Buckman.
One of the OGs.
And one of the OGs, yeah, she's we're really hoping that she's still interested. Her and Nate coming on with us. Wow, do I want to get his perspective after only knowing her from working with her for a little while, and then we had her on the pod. I would love to see the other side of that relationship
I
for
really would. And I
an
got
hour
to
and a
give him
half.
shit
That'd be
about getting
great.
hurt in the office.
Yeah, listen, yeah, don't say any more for the people who've been listening. You know what's up. I definitely want to ask about that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what his answer is about all that.
Yeah. Just
Uh,
how.
right. So that being said, man, if it's okay, let me kind of change tacks here real quick.
Absolutely. Sorry about all the dings.
As John's beeps keep going on in the background. I know how to turn my phone off, and as technically savvy as John is, he seems to have
I
trouble
always
with the
forget.
button on the side of his Samsung phone, which we've talked about before. I could turn my iPhone off easy, and his just keeps beeping and beeping and beeping. Um, as far as the construction industry goes, now we've at this point we're through the new election. We know who the new governing body is.
Yep.
What do you hope for construction going forward in this new year?
Um, Look, I don't have any real hopes for construction. I think construction is going to do exactly what construction has done every single election. It slows down right before the election happens, and then it picks right back up. I think with the new president and the beings that it's a Republican president, usually drives businesses. That's just kind of how it works. So, which also drives investors, which drives projects, and it's a revolving door. So,
I I feel exactly the same way, buddy.
I don't think we're going to have another '08 slump. I don't think we'll ever have another '08 slump, to be honest with you.
You, for somebody who used to work in the banking industry, be real careful talking like that. That's bad juju, buddy. I hope
Knock on
I
wood.
agree with your original sentiment. I hope we never see another '08 situation, but
Right.
it only takes the right mix of circumstances, and unfortunately, we don't control any of those circumstances unless we don't buy houses and don't borrow money. And unfortunately, for the majority of people in North America, those things aren't possible.
Right.
At some
Right.
point, you have to borrow for a house and car loans and etc. So,
Right.
but I like your attitude. I just think it's unrealistic,
Hey.
for lack of a better term. So,
Well, what's your views? What's your hopes for construction as we move forward
uh,
to the year?
I I really like where you're thinking. That, yes, it always they always pump the brakes as the election gets real close, and then once it's over, whichever groups, political parties, things all of a sudden everybody takes a breath and goes, "Okay, it's over," regardless of who won, and things slowly start to ramp up. If you work in construction, you have to know this. It's gonna Everything's gonna seem real sketchy for a split second right around the election leading up to it, and then business as usual.
Yep.
That's fair, right? Uh, Here's what we need, okay? In my opinion, because this was sort of you sort of kind of dropped this on me a little. I had been thinking about the new year, but the episode wasn't structured as we normally do it. Uh,
Yeah. Fuck that. It's New Year's.
yeah. Once, yeah, we're going to have more of these folks where we do a little less structure and a little more just talking shit off the top of our heads. Dude, we need interest rates lower. As we've talked about recently with our apprentice episode, our recap, that we need to continue to try to recruit new people. It's fucking killing us.
Yep.
Supply chain issues continue to be a problem.
Yep.
As recently as this week, I was in asking for a very basic part. They were like, "Yeah, we're not sure we're going to get those." What? Like in the real world version compared to electrical, it'd be like me going into Walmart and asking for what's a fair comparison? Hey, I'm looking for
Hand soap.
size large black boxer shorts, and them going, "Yeah, we don't know we're going to get any of those again." It's real basic stuff that for some reason people either bought up or demand hasn't kept up with supply and vice versa.
Right.
Supply chain is continuing to be an issue, right? We're going to see technology continue to be hugely important to everybody,
Yep.
whether it's
If not
security
more
that we've
important.
talked about before, or job site projection, or logistics, things like that. One thing that again, you sort of dropped this on me, but I kind of thought at some point we talk about what the new year looked like, right? Lawsuits came up, and it's been a real surprising thing that I never thought about in all the episodes that we've done, that the costs of lawsuits continue to rise at such a degree in construction that it's something that businesses have to factor in now. So you go to work
Yep.
tomorrow and knock on wood, you don't get hurt, right? But if you did, and it was something that the GC or your company or whatever was responsible for, well, you're going to have to get some law involved in that.
Right.
And that's happening every day. And companies now need to factor in a few extra bucks on every project to guard themselves against potential suits down the road because even nothing malicious, but an employee gets hurt or
Yep.
whatever, right? That was one of the big things that came up in a lot of the searches I did. It's not something I even thought about, but you really got to consider the fact that these companies that employ us also have to remember that down the road, they might have to get some lawyers involved. There might be some court time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 2025 through 2032 projections that I saw almost all had lawsuits included in the things that businesses needed to consider going forward.
And you hit a good spot there too, Jason, because I don't think people realize that bigger companies and companies that the outfits that we work for, they're considered some of the couple of the biggest in the area.
Yep.
They're actually in lawsuits all
It's
the
pretty
time,
regular.
and not from somebody getting hurt. Usually it's job cost related. Usually it's either deadlines, a deadline was missed and they got fees associated, and they'll carry some of that stuff to court to fight and be like, hey, no, we're not we're not paying this fine because it wasn't our problem. We didn't
I
cause the delay. Stuff
I
like
I
that.
have found myself in, fortunately, excuse me, folks, had a little burp there. I found myself in only one of these in my career so far, and it was exactly what you say. It was one of these situations where damage had been caused from weather,
Right.
and there was an argument, disagreement between my company and another company about who was responsible for the damage that got caused during the inclement weather. And it went on for a while, and then finally, guy that I work with came to me and said, "Oh yeah, no, listen, yeah, we went through the arbitration or whatever it was. I'm, just guessing the words that he would have used, and said, yeah, we got paid for that. It's good. What you say is perfectly accurate. They're constantly going through these things. You don't know what all the other people in your shop have been dealing with, how the jobs went, a
No.
deadline got missed. Yeah, it's something that they've always had to consider, but it seems to me that the fact that it came up so prominently in so many of the searches that I did about what people will need to factor in the next few years, it's
Man,
it might not be just ramping up, but it might be happening so regularly that they need to factor it into their business model, so to speak.
yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with people getting fucking sue happy.
Can I
Oh,
tell you about Sue Happy, buddy?
I injured my finger. I'm suing you.
Let me tell you about Sue Happy. Uh, we don't have these stores around anymore because if you're old enough, eventually some of the stores of your youth that were big names go away. But for those of you who don't know, Sears, a
Oh yeah.
big retailer over the years, they're basically gone now, from what I can understand.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pretty much.
Sears got sued in Canada a number of years ago. A lady was in shopping for whatever she was shopping for. The article I read didn't detail it, but uh, she tripped over a child who was horsing around in the furniture department. She fell. She broke her leg. Okay. She sued the Sears company, saying that they should offer some sort of daycare or childcare so that adults and parents could go in and shop for the products they needed without fear of watching for other people's children and tripping over kids, and in this case, breaking her leg.
Right.
Uh, it was this lady's kid that she tripped over.
Oh my God.
She won the case. these are the sort of frivolous lawsuits that could be pushed on the companies that we work for. They're dealing with this sort of thing, legitimate and illegitimate lawsuits. That was an illegitimate lawsuit
That
that
lady needs to be
unfortunately this
ran off
lady
the
happened to
road
win. She tripped over and broke her leg from her own child acting the fool, right?
because she wasn't
But
paying attention to her own kid.
right. But to your point, those sort of things can happen
Yep.
even within our industry, right? Oh, I cut myself. Well, what were you doing? Oh, well, I had my phone in one hand and trying to saw something with the other, and I nicked my finger,
Right.
right? So,
Yeah. And I think that's what it drives costs. It drives costs up, and everybody wants to bitch about how expensive the construction industry is. And I think we're going to see in 2025 with the help and utilization of AI coming in. I think a lot of that's going to be a lot more controlled or watched.
I thought about our "The Man is Always Watching" episode. I wish I had the episode number available to me at hand right now.
Right.
Yes, there is going to be more paying attention to what your employees are doing so that when these things come up, they can track and go back to metadata, as people say. Oh, so take me for example, okay? There's a GPS in my company vehicle.
Yep.
When I accelerate too much, when I slow down too fast, when I take a curve too hard, it registers all these things. I get an alert, my bosses get an alert, etc., right?
Yep.
They can not only use these things to go back in these cases and go, no, 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 no. Let's say I had a traffic accident. Well, we can give you all the data from Jason driving for his last 10,000 miles, and he's extremely safe.
Right.
That can go towards their case and go, listen, no, no, this person's a very safe driver. It was obviously on this non-professional day-to-day driver who was just on the road who bumped into it. These sort of things are going to continue to be used.
Right.
And it's going to get, like I said, it was 2025 through 2032. This was a huge focus. There's going to need to be consideration that they need to take into account that you're going to have a few lawsuits kind of on an ongoing basis. And to your point, basically all the time, there's going to be at least one going on, if not more.
Right. Right.
So,
I think guys are going to start seeing a little bit more controller thing, a little bit more surveillance. That episode was episode 40, by the way. It's called
thank you.
Big Brother on the Job Site.
Oh, there you go. Episode 40, folks.
But
If you
I
haven't
think
heard that one, please go back and listen to episode 40.
I can see my company putting in trackers. I can see my company putting in dash cams in the trucks. I think dash cams are a great idea, honestly, in commercial vehicles.
I got into my company vehicle after they had already decided to put GPS tracking in the vehicles. So as I've said before, it never really bothered me because I didn't know a world without it.
Right.
Some of the guys who had been in there earlier for longer times who didn't have it, who get to drive the way they want and do whatever, I understand their hesitance because this was a new thing for them. So,
Right. Right.
but there's going to be more of that, and I think you need to understand that's the deal now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
And
it is.
if you think about it in the manner of it's protecting you, excellent.
Yep. I will say one thing that I'm really fucking annoyed with, though, that I know is
Please.
coming in this new year.
John's looking up in the air right now, so I know this is going to be a fun thought. Go ahead, buddy.
We found out about it today on the job site. We have to switch over to the class 2 fucking hard hats with the chin straps. Fucking mandatory.
So, we mentioned a couple episodes ago that John and I very rarely have to edit out any words from the podcast. It's happened one time
Yep.
in the history of our podcast. I'm now about to make it two. I'm going to force John to edit this out. Your company, correct me if I'm wrong with what you just said, is going to the class 2 hard hats that include the chin straps.
Yep. The mountain climber style.
Yeah, the mountain climber style, slightly smaller, all this. Okay.
Yep.
So we're at 54 minutes and 23 seconds of the recording, sir.
Yeah, I got you.
That's pretty gay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
It's real easy for me to say stuff like that because I work in service now, and about 1 out of every 100 places I go, I have to put on my high vis vest and my hard hat. It's very, very rare.
Yep.
So I'm out of the loop.
Yep. I just
That's
got
not
mine
good,
all
man.
decorated. It's all
Is it the
stickered
ones
up.
with the? Do they have the flip down visor like Star Wars?
Oh, it fucking better not. It better not.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I know
about,
exactly what
right?
you're talking about. It better not. The built-in eye
Dude,
protection.
if you have the flip down visors like Star Wars and they're making a run on the Death Star, we are putting that shit up on social media the first day you got to wear that class
I'll be
2 hat.
taking a goddamn picture of it and fucking posting it on our Instagram.
Please do.
But the first thing that's going on it is freaking the ISAW sticker.
I appreciate that. I will say this out loud as occasionally when I have the opportunity, I like to be the devil's advocate on this show. You know that every time you put a sticker on your hard hat, it lowers the safety integrity of
Shut
your
up.
hard hat, right?
Shut up. Shut up. We have to put the stickers on orientation on our hard hat. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah. And for anybody who wants an ISAW sticker, you just reach out. I'll pay the 41 cents and send you one. I don't care if they cost me 22 cents at a time. It's totally fine.
Or actually go to work and be in construction. Eventually, you'll probably see me on a job site and you'll get one.
Absolutely, yes. Is there anything else that you had for this one, buddy?
You know what, man? I just wanted to talk about the new year, and actually, it's an important time. It's some planning. It's some excitement. It's looking forward. It actually helps us drive and keep chugging away at this little train wreck that we got. So I just want to take a minute and make it a little real for everybody.
Absolutely. So I've got something that I wanted to throw out here real quick. We have continued to do this for the last how many months now, buddy? 16?
Yeah,
I think it's 16 months now.
16 months.
Uh, I want to thank every single person who has listened to us, whether it's sporadically or every week. We understand that people are a few episodes behind, or some people are completely up to date and they listen every single Thursday when we get these out. And on behalf of John and I and everybody at the I Shower Afterward podcast, I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, for sure.
Welcome to the new year. We're going to keep doing it. Please continue to send us episode ideas, comments, feedback. If you don't think that you'd be a good guest, but if you're on a job site with someone and you think, wow, I would love to hear them talk shit with so and so for an hour and a half, you can forward us the name of somebody who you think might be one, or suggest to them, hey, listen to this for a few episodes. I think you'd be really fun on here.
Right.
Think outside the box, folks. Help us out here.
Dude, you can send them the link.
Please.
You can send them the link to the page. Just go on our website and send them the website link. It's right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy. And if you don't know how to do that, you can reach out to us at 507-607-ISAW, and we'll be happy to explain to you how to send them that link.
I will send you the link.
Yeah, so we'll send you video instructions on how to do that and just forward
Whoa,
it to the
whoa, whoa.
person.
I haven't got that shit made yet.
Yeah, you do. You're fine with that. I'm
I
putting
don't
John
have
on the spot here.
I don't have the video instructions set up for that.
I'll take care of that. I'm going to commit on air right now. I will put a video instruction together that will be probably half hilarious, I think, of the simplistic version of here's how you forward somebody an email address or a link on the website. But please do, folks, keep reaching out to us with the stuff. We love all the feedback that we get. If you have an episode and idea, we'd love to hear it. If you want to help out this little growing podcast, the Buy Us a Beer widget is on our website. You can buy us one beer. You can buy us multiple beers. We really appreciate all the people who have supported us over these last 16, 18 months, whatever it happens to be. And if you want to email John about anything, if you had feedback, it's john@isawpodcast.com. If you want to email me, it's obviously jason@isawpodcast.com. And if you just want to send a generic one to the both of us, it's hosts, plural, HOSTS @isawpodcast.com. We really want guests this year for 2025. We really want to do any subject you're thinking about, even if it's not construction related. We've said it a million times, John. Send us it. We'll talk shit about anything.
Oh,
We're
for sure.
more than happy to do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
If you could give anybody, before we wrap up here, buddy, your advice for the new year, the 2025, episode 2025 that the aliens are watching from space of the show Humans, what would you say for the people? What's
oh,
your advice for the new year? What's your advice for 2025?
take a breath. Don't get all fucking uppity. Don't worry about stupid little shit. It's like the old saying used to go, don't pet the sweaty things, and don't sweat the petty things.
That's actually way more profound than what I was going to say, buddy.
Right.
Because mine is not quite as poignant as John's, although that did sound really good. I want to let him finish with that, but I also have to get out my advice for the new year.
Absolutely.
Fuck them. Let them hate.
That a boy.
Because there's plenty of people out there that are hating, and you know what? If somebody's hating on what you're doing, they're listening.
Yeah. You're probably doing something right.
They're thinking about it. So,
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for starting the new season 2. I think we're just going to go ahead with it.
Are we just going to run with it?
We're just going to go ahead. Season 2 of the Ice Shower After Work podcast. John, I want to say thank you for everything you've done over these last 16, 18 months of getting this thing going. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything your spouse has done. And I look forward to what we're going to do in the new year.
Yeah, amen to that. So, but also, real quick, can't close it out without saying it. Just everybody's got to remember to keep your work keeps the world working. We're just going to keep going.
Perfect.
All right, brother.
All right, Sláinte, buddy.
Sláinte.